This is our 2019 Volkswagen Jetta. This is the S model that we required because it is the only model that has the 6-speed manual transmission. I don't generally do automotive reviews, but I'm making a rare exception in this case, as you don't see many 2019 cars with manual option, and this one, being a base model, has a lot of interesting surprises. So we're going to jump into this and get started. Interesting about this model is that they do not put any plastics on top of the engine. It's bare, and it decreases weight, you know, and costs less money to produce in this specific model, but you just don't see that anymore. And you could see that, you know, the provisions are there, so if you wanted to snap on a cover,
that's what I was going to say. This right here is the snap point, and then you probably got two more back here.
Yeah, so it is possible to throw one on, but on the S they don't have it. Really don't need it, but I wanted to add that to the video because it is worth mentioning. It's not evident on these cars, though I would suspect that there would be a clutchless air conditioner. That'd be variable pressure air conditioner with the valve.
Yep.
And interesting note that comes back to the echo button that's inside the car, and it also mentions in the manual that when you have it in economy mode, it does change the valve. The max AC is reduced, the duty cycle, so you don't get it as cold as possible. The lowest possible temperature is changed for this car to further reduce fuel consumption. But in order to accomplish that, it's very much like Audi had the Climatronic, where you could actually dial in the actual temperature. This doesn't have that, but in order to see something like that, you'd really have to be able to look at the compressor itself, and I can't get down there. This is about as deep as I can look as far as looking at the AC plumbing, but I'm sure it is.
Does not make any difference.
Yeah, the atmosphere is made mostly of nitrogen. I always found nitrogen to be a gimmick. So, yeah, okay, fine. They added nitrogen to the tires. It's not detrimental, but to me, it's not a sales point. Here's something I want to show you, Jeff.
What's that?
You'll notice that there's no light when the trunk opens, when the hood opens, right? But what I want to show you is actually inside the car. Here's the cigarette lighter socket for charging a phone and whatnot. And you see what's in there?
Yeah.
Do you have this in your car?
I have it, but it's not plugged in there.
It's a rechargeable LED light.
Oh no, I don't have that.
So watch it. So hold the camera one moment, if you would. So it charges, and then when you need it,
Oh, that's cool.
you just turn it on, and when you shut it off,
Flashlight.
it looks just like an old style cigarette lighter. It just plugs into the cigarette lighter adapter.
That's great.
So that's what you would use if you had to go under the hood to do any work. And when you're done with it, you know, you just hand it to the wife. Puts it right back there.
That's great.
You like that? I thought that was pretty nifty.
At first glance, I thought it was a normal cigarette lighter. I didn't realize it was a flashlight.
Yeah, me too. That's pretty slick. So
that's awesome.
That's definitely an extra. That's a plus right there for the S model.
That's an awesome one.
After the incident with the Cobalt, that I couldn't get past, and obviously wasn't an issue here. Power windows, power locks. Right, and the S has power windows, power locks. Yeah. You know, because we could not have the S because it's the only model that came with the 6-speed manual transmission. So basically we had to start at the bottom and then say, what can you add to this car, you know, as far as options, but I have to have this minimum amount of
standard
items, features. And this was my first two after having aftermarket installations done on the Cobalt. So that was a must. We're going to be joined by celebrity guest VW connoisseur, my friend Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for coming out today for this.
Thank you.
Let's get underway. Point out immediately that this series comes with the reverse camera. Doing so, I'll also point out it does have a sizable screen. For our purposes, I'll just say having CarPlay pretty much satisfies all of our requirements with regard to telephone and Siri, and I gotta buckle my seatbelt. It also has a seatbelt monitoring system. We haven't yet done anything with regard to resetting averages. We're finding that for an engine just breaking in right now, and this is not any scientific measurements by any stretch of the imagination, we're seeing over 40 miles a gallon, right? Pretty much city as we're driving. It's also up there for our viewing pleasure as well. So as far as that information, Same thing across all of the other models. The steering wheel has all of the buttons on it. Interestingly, adaptive cruise control. But there's an adaptive cruise control button next to the cruise control cluster, and that one button has no function in this car because there is no adaptive cruise control. Other than that, every other button works on the steering wheel that control the radio, the jog button, Siri, and what have you. There is a vanity mirror in the sun visor, but this model does not have any lights when you open the mirror, and it doesn't surprise me. This does have climate control, and unlike the Audi, it doesn't have like climatronic with the adjustable zones and the actual centigrade temperature adjustments that I had in the other car. The AC blows really cold, really quick. The thing that I did not like, and apparently this is universal to all of these Jettas, regardless of the model, and that is the electric parking brake, right? I just can't wrap my hands around that, especially with a manual transmission. You know, that if you want to, I don't need to use a brake to go uphill or to take off from uphill. Some people call it a parking brake, some people call it an emergency brake. Why you would use that in emergency if your brakes failed, as with opposed to grabbing a handle, I don't know. And we have this economy button, and the economy button I'll discuss in greater detail. And there's the parking brake. But economy is interesting too. Like I said, there are some features that happen when that's engaged. This is a big trunk, and the seat releases are back here. There is a dome light here in the trunk. The only thing that I find a little bit sketchy on these trunks is this, and I pointed this out to you before, Jeff. When you open up the trunk, it doesn't stay up, right? Until you have to bring it. It sort of locks all the way up, clunk like that. And once you pull it all the way up, it locks. It's like a positive lock that you feel. It stays all the way in that up position. And when you pull it down a little, it sort of unlatches, and then it closes. So it's not like a trunk that you'd expect, where, you know, when you hit a button because the trunk opens up remotely, that it would open up into full open position. It doesn't do that in this car. Yeah. So it's worth noting.
Right.
This one is fully telescopic.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm not going to adjust it because my wife will yell at me, right? But you can see right there's the release. It goes up, down, left, right, in and out, right? So I wanted to point that out too on this model. Fully telescopic steering wheel. The driver's seat, the driver's seat right here is adjustable as well. How many point adjustment did they say this was? 6 point adjustment. But I will point out that on this model, it's not electric. I will point out for this video so it's not misleading. The windows weren't tinted from the factory. They were tinted by the dealership. So I just wanted to make that clear.
What did they do?
You want look in here? Power mirrors.
Nice.
Right?
Yep.
And alarm system standard as well. Right?
Yeah.
So as part of the central locks, there is an alarm system. And again, you know, this is stuff I'm pointing out. This is the S model. There's the base model with the manual transmission. I'm pointing out these features that you used to find only on the top end models, you know? So this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Here's another thing too. When we got the Cobalt back in the day, you know, the base model to get the manual transmission, you got steel hubs and like plastic caps that went over them.
Right.
These are alloy rims.
Nice.
Granted, they're 16s. It's not like they're not like 21s with thin profile tires.
Right.
But again, S model, look at the rims that you're getting.
Right.
You know, not bad at all.
Yeah.
And you know, the devil's in the details. Locking gas cap as well. You know, you don't, again, something you don't really think about in this type of model, but it's also on here when the car's locked. That little actuator right there would flip 90 degrees and stop somebody from opening this up.
Also, while we're on this part of the segment,
yeah, sure.
I don't know if you've ever, well, this was kind of cool to me. You're filling up gas, need a place to put it, boop, there you go.
These are like the little things, you know? The little things that make a difference. Another thing I'll point out, and again, this experience comes from, you know, base models with manual transmissions. They got, like I wouldn't say bass, but mid-range speakers and tweeters in the rear doors, right?
Nice.
And we checked the fader on the radio to see how it sounded when we brought it to the front and back, and no doubt it's there. You know, baseline models, sometimes you find that it's just missing or missing the speakers altogether in the back, you know, when it's just in the front, but it's there. One thing that is missing, I find surprising, center console. I pointed this out earlier to my wife. Center console you would expect to find, and I'm gonna have to check your car to see what's going on here, is that there's a cutout if for
rear
ventilation
AC, yeah.
for AC, and it's not there on this model. And I don't know if that's between this model or other models. Steffi said maybe they use that armrest for an entirely different car that's not a Jetta, so we'll have to take a look and see.
Hey, how you doing?
Also has personalized keys. I don't know how much that does. I don't know the extent of what value it brings you, other than say hello with your name on it, right? Maybe the settings for, you know, kilometers versus miles and some other personal settings in the car. Maybe if you had electric seats, it would automatically move your seat to position. We don't have electric seats. So without the electric seats to that extent, I'm not really sure. So I'll just say that it does have personalized settings based on key. No more than that. We're trying to figure out if there's some sort of braking going on here with the park brake. We haven't figured it out yet, but my wife has mentioned to me now a couple of times that on a hill, when she lets go of the brake, as she's doing now, it doesn't roll as though she feels it should. So we're going to be monitoring for this. I'm going to report back in this video. I wanted to point that out now. So we're testing out the theory now.
Oh, it only works for a few seconds, but I'm not rolling back.
So you're not rolling back. We confirmed that it in fact holds the car in place when you're on a hill.
For at least 10 seconds.
So that's very strange, isn't it? So we have some sort of rollback assist for is that for you think that's for manual transmission then? Because it wouldn't be for automatic. They would have a feature like that. So I'm confirming that this car has that. Another feature is when you pull into Aldi, it automatically takes you to the furthest parking spot away from everybody else. It's its anti-ding technology, also known as wife. What we're here about specifically this evening is to talk about the echo button. And I had to do some research. It was very sparse online, believe it or not, and it spoke down to you like most car companies do and said it gives you more fuel efficiency, right? Tells you nothing. And I'll tell you what I got out of it. First of all, adjust that proportioning valve in the AC compressor. Makes the AC not blow as cold, therefore improving fuel efficiency. What it also does on the automatic transmission is it adjusts the shift points, right? As you would expect, to make it more conservative. Third, it adjusts the throttle response on both the automatic and standard, right? So that if you have a lead foot, it'll save you from yourself. But what we're going to test is the second one, because we have a manual transmission. What I'd like to know is currently set to echo, what the shift points are going to be. It's going to be hard to capture first. What my wife is going to do is she's going to slowly roll past the indicators for the shifting, right? And she's not going to be shifting at the ideal shift points so that we can see what those shift points are. So just so we can get an indication of when it appears on the gauge. And then we're going to compare it again to when I shut echo off to see if those change. Again, I'm going to point out that first gear is going to be a toss-up because it simply happens too quickly to be able to see. Maybe she'll get it and maybe she won't. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, I realize you have to lug it just for roll past. There we go. Outstanding. So now we've got the ones for echo. And the next time we come to a traffic light, we're going to repeat this. I realize first and second gear, you're just not going to capture it. The car just winds up way too quick to effectively know when that number is. But we really don't care about that. You don't spend a whole lot of time in first and second gear. Here we go. First, second. Roll past it. Second, third. Definitely, they look to me to be different. Fourth, fifth.
They feel different.
Fifth, sixth. I think fifth, sixth was about the same. I'll analyze this. I'll post it in the video when we edit it, and we'll see exactly what the differences are. It also tells you what your individual energy consumers are in this application, right? So, like I was showing, the climate control is 1 liter per hour. I imagine that's petrol, right? Let the missus provide some observations as she gets onto the highway now.
Doing doing 80 at just a little over 2,000 RPM.
Yeah, definitely geared very nicely for the highway in 6. Cruise control's never been known for being very good on hills.
No, 2.5.
Yeah, because it's not using any gas.
1.8.
Maybe you can go hours and hours on cruise control like this, you know? You never have to touch the gas pedal. That's why we're driving at night, so we can show this sort of stuff.
Another feature that's nice is the tap and switch lane signal. It just automatically shuts off after 3.
That was 3, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
As far as the miles per gallon is concerned, all we have to do is hit a button and we'll go for a drive again.
Okay, fine.
It's that simple.
Taking a pit stop, and now we can hit these, there are some, think blue tips, right? So, where's that one? Let's roll. And the car actually has these paragraphs. Take your foot off the gas, coast while in gear. Interrupts fuel supply to the engine, right? So it's letting you know that you should do this, right? You'll also save fuel by disengaging the clutch. It's a clever little method of going downhill. Just for this video, my wife is changing everything back to American. I've reset everything now.
So now it counts?
Now counts. Now you're in trouble. This is our cruise around town so far, coming out the back of our neighborhood, wrapping around the back roads, coming in through the front of our neighborhood. So far we're through the neighborhood and on that back road. I'll point out the wife is doing the speed limit. We're by no means in 6th gear here. This is not a highway.
I don't know.
What?
That when I'm going uphill, it lets me ride out the gears a little further before it asks me to shift.
We're gonna have to test that. It may be beyond the scope of this video, though. We only tested on the straightaway. We have like this 3-mile uphill that we have to do. Dropped it from 40 down to 35. Now we've crested that hill, and I'm sure we're gonna watch its fuel economy come back up. So now we're back at the front of our neighborhood at a long traffic light, so we'll probably take a hit here. 40.6 miles per gallon. Obviously it dropped. We only have 6 miles in this average. But basically in the city, you're getting 40 miles per gallon. And that's what we proved on this 7-mile drive around our neighborhood and back. Through traffic lights and stops and waiting and turns and whatnot with 40-mile-an-hour roads. So I think we covered about everything. I hope everybody has enjoyed watching this video about the features of our 2019 Volkswagen Jetta S 6-speed manual transmission. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.